This is The Minimum Commitment, film theory in small doses. Someone once told me I was too much. I laughed, because I'd been trying my whole life not to be enough. I'm Donn Lawler, film scholar, audio obsessive, and a guy who never did learn how to shut up in group therapy. Let's get into it. Everyone wants to seem okay. That's the game. You wear the smile. You shake the hands. You say, "I'm fine," when you're falling apart. But what if you couldn't fake it anymore? What if your pain refused to perform? Silver Linings Playbook by David O. Russell is a rom-com about two people who don't know how to be okay, because the world keeps demanding that they pretend. Pat is recovering from a violent episode that ended his marriage, his job, and his freedom. Bradley Cooper plays Pat like a man trying to outrun his own mind, only to realize that healing comes when you stop moving and face what's behind you. Tiffany is grieving her husband's death while sleeping her way through the shame spiral. Jennifer Lawrence plays Tiffany like someone who's already lost everything, but moving through the world stripped of pretense. She's not defenseless. She's just done pretending. Neither one of them has a handle on their emotions, and that's the point. Because the people who do seem stable, Pat's family, his therapist, his brother, the police, are just better at hiding their damage. They are wearing normal like a costume. This episode leans into two key ideas. Mental health realism is about showing mental illness as something lived, not labeled. It means portraying characters not as diagnoses or cautionary tales, but as people who are hurting, coping, surviving, and still making choices. Pat isn't a manic episode. Tiffany isn't a widow in crisis. They're messy. They're honest. They're trying. And the film doesn't punish them for that. It gives them space to be uncomfortable, to be funny, to be wrong. That's realism. It's not pretty, but it's real. Social constructivism asks a harder question. Who gets to decide what normal looks like? In Silver Linings Playbook, it's the institutions, therapy, law enforcement, and family who hold the rule book. They define stability as quiet, success as marriage, sanity as silence. But Pat's family isn't stable. The people around him lie, repress, manipulate, gamble, and project. They just do it politely, so no one calls it a disorder. Social constructivism says maybe the ones being labeled aren't the broken ones. Maybe they're just the ones no longer playing along. That's the theory. Now let's see how it plays out. Pat wants to rebuild his life, but really, he wants his old life back. The wife, the house, the job. And he believes if he just says the right words and keeps the right mindset, everything will realign. But that's not recovery. That's bargaining. It's not until he starts helping Tiffany with her dance routine that something shifts. He stops obsessing over his past and starts participating in now. He's still unstable, but he's present. And in this film, that's progress. But even as Pat starts showing up for someone else, the world around him keeps spinning too fast. Because healing isn't just about what you feel. It's about how the world feels around you, how it moves, how it sounds, how it refuses to slow down when your brain needs a minute. And that's where the film's form starts to take over. The rhythm of this film mimics Pat's mind. Fast cuts, overlapping dialogue, loud voices, interrupted thoughts. It's chaotic, sometimes hard to follow. That's intentional. You're not supposed to feel comfortable. You're supposed to feel what it's like to live in his head. The scenes with Officer Keogh hammer that point home. Every time Pat tries to stabilize, the system steps in, checking his behavior, undermining his peace. The officer becomes the voice of acceptable behavior, and Pat's breakdowns are just reminders that he's failing to meet a script he never wrote. It's not just the pacing or the edits that create that sense of pressure. It's the people. Everyone in Pat's life is playing a role, trying to keep the house, the family, the football rituals all running like a well-oiled machine. And in that kind of environment, someone like Pat isn't just disruptive. He's dangerous, not because he's violent, but because he refuses to follow the script. So, what happens when no one is being honest, except the two people everyone else keeps trying to fix? Pat's family is a study in performance. Pat's dad, played by Robert De Niro, is obsessed with football rituals, believing certain people in the room facing certain directions can determine the outcome of a game. He's just as compulsive as Pat, but he calls it tradition. His brother is the golden child. His mom is the fixer, the peacekeeper. They all play roles. But Tiffany refuses to play. She doesn't hide her anger, her sexuality, or her grief. She meets Pat on the same raw frequency. There's a moment when she snaps at him.
I saw the way you were looking at me, Pat. You felt it, I felt it. Don't lie. We're not liars like they are.
That's the line. That's the crack in the system. She's not just talking about her sister, she's calling out the whole performance of normal. And in a story full of masks, expectations, and roles, there's one moment when everything falls away. When they stop pretending and just move together. It doesn't happen in a hospital or a therapist office or a heart-to-heart conversation. It happens on the dance floor. Sometimes the only way to say what you feel is to move through it. The dance isn't just the climax, it's the metaphor. Their routine is messy, incomplete, unpredictable, just like their relationship. It sways from rock music to ballroom in the same way they swing from fights to laughter. And when they dance, it's not about impressing the judges. It's about learning how to move together, how to fall and recover. Pat's revelation doesn't come with a grand speech. It comes through action. He helps Tiffany build something. He sees her. Love is not his cure, but it is his mirror. Because in the end, Silver Linings Playbook isn't about recovery. Not really. It's about what happens when two broken people stop trying to fix themselves and start listening to each other's noise. Pat isn't healed. Tiffany isn't whole. But They've stopped performing and started participating. Together. In motion. Flawed, fast, and fully present. They're far from perfect, but they're showing up. And for people who've been told they are broken, that might be the bravest thing of all. That's your thought for the day. Minimum commitment, maximum meaning. See you next time. The Minimum Commitment is produced, recorded, and edited by Donn Lawler. Music by Itamar.